Hey.
Dino. You're an admin.
That's true.
Shut the fuck up. Yes.
Oh, you said a bad word on stream.
Fuck you! That's what. Hello everyone, welcome to GTEL Division 2. We're Div 2 round fucking... Round 5?
6.
No, it's 5, it's 5. It's meant to be
5.
6. Round 6 is next week. Due to cancellations and stuff. There goes our perfect start time. Is Casey? Yeah, Casey's in. Right. We are the biggest joke in sim racing.
Ah, they hate us because they ain't us.
Fucking who would want to be us? Arresting my friend then surprising him. Fuck off, Nico Milano. I've just gone blind.
How much faster is Vazman Vaso for everyone else?
Don't know.
Line.
Rolling.
Rolling. Rolling.
Shut the fuck up, the pair of you.
Rolling down the first turn.
More of a... I shit you not, if that's what I can hear in the background, I am gonna scream. I'll DM, I'll put it in the admin chat.
What, your scream? Right,
I don't know if stream will pick Vault, but look what I've just sent. Hello everyone, welcome to the stream. I see you all joining, hope you have a good day.
Was that like special ASMR?
Oh, it's fucking sweet and sour chicken. Why you gotta be so late, Mum, with cooking it?
Sweet and sour chicken.
That is racist. We've now been cancelled for the second week in a row with Dino commentating with me. We've been cancelled. Thank you and good night.
There's a common anomaly, and not denominator. That's what it is. No, it's no. Just pack up on the first turn.
Can I be a dick and fucking... Right, so no, that won't work. Well, hello everyone. My name is Dylan. I am joined by Dino Rod and Casey for round 5 of the GTEL Division 2 Championship, and I have to find out who needs to be kicked. Dino, right, this Irishman yet? Do you know him? That's not.
Bagroff.
Just make sure our DBC ready's up, and we'll be good to go.
Let's do this, Shizzle.
It's an extended qualifying, of course. I'm gonna quick to go get a snack. I'll be right back.
A la snack bar. I mean, you have a few seconds. You're a madman.
Right, hello, Casey, on ready. Casey, you're not meant to be readied up.
Slip of
You
the
don't.
fingers.
You two planned. I will watch the stream back. And if I find out you two have organised that, one of you is losing your job. Anyway, welcome everyone to the GTEL Division 2 Round 5, the penultimate round of the championship here at Le Mans. We've got a postponed round next week. At Spa, that one was cancelled, that was meant to be round 2. And here at Le Mans, it's one of the most famous racetracks in the world, if not the most famous. We've got the GT3 cars around here as standard. An extended qualifying 15 instead of a 10 minutes due to the massive track it is, as you can see in the top right hand corner. I'm joined by my good fellow admins, Dana Roddick and Casey. They're both twats.
You too.
And what's your thoughts on today's race? I think you should turn your mic up. You're very quiet.
Really cut him off.
Hello. Yeah. Sorry for that blue screen, everyone. I would never rule out Juice Rombo. And do you think there's going to be any inter-team helpings down the Morzan Straight? Because this track has got a lot of straights, so you've got... I mean, don't underestimate how big the first straight is as well. That is massive. Now, if you look at the pit lane is quite big. You don't realise how big it actually is compared to the rest of the because of how big the rest of the track is. You've got 3 long straights with the runs down towards the 2 chicanes of the Morzan Straight. You've got the run down towards Indianapolis. You've got the run down towards the Porsche curves. Most of this track is flat out. Good 75%. The tyres as well don't deflate that bad around here.
Don't.
Because there's
fuel goes down really fast as well.
There's very little turns, but then the fuel does go down. So strategy is going to be incredibly important when it comes to fuel saving. And do you go really aggressive, and you can save quite a few seconds without taking tyres at this track.
You can definitely fuel save in slipstream as well. This track you can save probably a couple of litres.
We could see some NASCAR-esque strategies coming out here, and I've not posted on social media.
Rip.
Fucking hell. Fucking hell, Dylan.
Oh, I think that was Prada.
Hey, the Instagram's at 100 followers! It's a long outlap. We're gonna be like we're gonna be a third of the way in before anyone's actually started a lap. What are your predictions on top 5? We'll go top 5.
5. Right. I'm thinking Juice Realm with the win, followed closely by OTBC.
I mean, for YouTube. For fuck's sake, I'm waffling. Qualifying.
Right, so you have Juice Realm and OTBC 1 and 2. I think that's standard. I don't know which one will be there, but I say they will both be there thereabouts anyway. Then you have possibly, I would say, if Fastman Fast can get his getting strategy sorted out, he can definitely be up there in 3rd, I think, and then between possibly.
I mean, the B&R boys need a good strategy. Is Prada coming out of the final chicane? He's at a bit of a mare, and his first lap he's going to be a good 10. He's going to lose about half second there, which at the grand scheme of things it's easy to make up at Le Mans. But Gossau, he's going to be impeded as well. But it means Prada's lost his slipstream ahead, and Gossau could probably make it up in the slipstream. one thing I'm noticing as well, Online Cruiser doesn't actually have any slipstream, because Online Cruiser's first out is obviously not going to have any slipstream. And I think OTBC is just about in the slipstream range behind, so that's also going to be a close one. I mean, Online Cruiser, he's going to be, it could actually find himself coming into the lap at the end of OTBC. Compared to OTBC, he could actually find himself a good second down, but this might actually be a good representation for the race as well, because depending on where their times are, yes, there could be a few mistakes in the way, but it will give us a rough idea about how much advantage the slipstream actually gives you with Online Cruiser compared to OTBC's. As the second part of the slipstream as well. Do you think the Americans will be working together? I mean, Gossau's right on the back of Prada, but things, let's such OTBC, you'd expect the West Motorsports, the Can-Am Racings and the BNRs to help each other, but they're really not, they're quite spread out. I mean, what? Yeah, you see Gossau's gotten through there.
Knock bolts is on.
Can I use kilometers an hour, not miles an hour? No, it's set to whatever my default one is of my nation. I think that could be a smart idea by I mean, knock and bolts. We did say we could be seeing some NASCAR strategies. That's gone wide. Was that Prada? Oh, Noffelhonk, sorry. I was just saying, the Americans, we could be seeing some NASCAR strategies from them. There goes knock and bolt slipstreamers. See Online Cruiser coming through the Porsche. No, he's not gone towards Indianapolis, down towards Arnage. He's a bit of a tank slapper. That's OTBC's back to the pit, so he's just going to straight up go again. Not going to bother with the rest of it.
Vassman here because it takes 4 minutes. He might not have time.
He will have time for one more lap. He will, but he's going to have to.
It was out lap.
It was out lap, but you haven't got to finish your lap in time. Like, it's not going to take him 7 minutes to get round.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure, but Gossau, he's going to be third cross flying, but you see, through the Porsche curves, down towards corner now, Online Cruiser, he's now got quite a big lead, and Online Cruiser, so far his lap, so good, in my opinion. His lap's been quite clean. He only had one little mistake where he got his right wheels onto the gravel through Indianapolis, but other than that, it's alright, so we'll see how it is for the German. He got his first podium last week as he comes through the fourth chicane, now the final chicane. It's a very short run down towards the line. Bit shaky on the curb. It's not the fastest, a 4:08. Then it's purple so far for Vassman across the line. He goes provisional pole at 57.7. That is quick. Gossau, can he upset Cruiser? No, it's going to be a 1:8. Prada, he's 8 seconds off the pace, and then Noffelhonk, he goes in, Mr. Osaka, sorry, he goes into 8th, knock and bolts. I'm off, Mr. Osaka's on in second. My brain's really not working. Juice Rom, he's cutting the chicane lot, and he's had a bit of a tank slapper. He goes quite deep, sorry, he loses the rear, and he's lost a lot of time. That's now going to be putting him in 4th. He's actually quite a way down there through the final chicane.
Penalty as well.
So I mean, OTBC, he's out of it, but so far, Vassman, he's been quite on it. I mean, OTBC hasn't set a lap yet. Who else? Big people who haven't set an arm. Where's
he's on an outlap.
Yeah, Vaslinkock, he's on an outlap, so he's taken a big lead. He's got it's an interesting livery that we're actually seeing from Vaslinkock as well.
Yeah, Turkish livery.
And anyone know what that's about? No, he's Dutch.
Yeah, I think Brian was saying he has Turkish ancestry. Oh, he's half Turkish. That's what it is. He's half Turkish.
Through Treacherouge. Oh, fucking hell, this has been a bitch. OTBC will have time. He's literally coming up towards Indianapolis now. Time for OTBC is not going to be pro. He's got a minute left on the lap and there's 5 minutes on the clock. It'll be fine for him. He may actually have time, if he is quick, to have a second lap in. But the guy chasing Vassman so far in second, down towards the Michelin chicane, Mr. Osaka, very shaky on entry. It's the curbs through the chicanes here, they're really unpleasant in my opinion. He's 6 tenths down, coming towards the end of what would be the second sector officially, down towards Morzine corner. He needs to find nearly 3 seconds, so that shows how good Vassman's lap was, and I think the only person that could really challenge is probably Juicerom, but we don't know how quick Juicerom could be. And then OTBC, down towards Morzine corner, lets it roll in nicely, hits the apex, and the Corvette ahead of him. Who's the Corvette ahead of Prado? Because my names are not loading.
He's indicating to let him go.
Look, Mr. Osaka's just going to tuck into the slipstream until necessary, and then he's going to... That was quite aggressive there, that pull out.
Yeah, Prada was indicating to let him go.
Yeah, that... I think Mr. Osaka was just trying to get as much benefit as he can, but then he probably lost all of that benefit. There's also a 1 second penalty for Mr. Osaka. None of the track limits around here are quite rough, as... Coming towards the Porsche curves, Vassman, the current man on provisional pole. And these guys might have been will have been able to get 3 laps in here, which is quite impressive. So maybe we didn't even need the... I know we probably did, but you know. And he's purple, 7 tenths up Vassman, so he could actually extend his lead further. Through Cart Corner we go, he's got 4 turns to go, 2 chicanes.
Chicanes where it make or break his time.
They could, it's a big set, it's 4 chicane not so much, but a final chicane it is very tight, quite technical as... Let's see, munches on the curbs quite nicely there, Vassman holds it together, it's a brilliant turn in towards the final chicane, just avoid the sausage curb, and it's a really good exit from him. Across the line, let's see what the time is at 56.9, that is brilliant from him. Online Cruise also improved into second. And Juicerom, he's coming through Cart Corner now, named after the Le Mans kart circuit on the right. Gosso, he's improved into third, that's a brilliant lap from him. As the Can-Am Racing, let's quickly speak about Juicerom. OTBC, the only way that OTBC can now win the championship, OTBC has to outscore Juicerom by 6 points. Vassman's pitted, so that's his qualifying done with. Across the line, Juicerom improves, but not by much. I don't think he actually gained a position there.
No, he didn't. He stayed in 5th.
OTBC, he's at a shocking line through the Michelin chicane. He's on the run down towards Morzine corner, so looking at it, he may not actually have enough time. This may be his only lap. It's going to be on the cusp of it. Vasilinkov as well. He's coming, Vasilinkov, yeah, hasn't set a time either. He's coming through the first chicane on the Morzine straight. I'm not going to name what it's actually called for obvious reasons. If you know, you know. Vassman got a penalty and bonked, he says so. That's his qualifying over as he's in the pit. So he's got 1.5 second lead from Online Cruiser. Juicerom's really not happy with this. So there is a chance if OTBC is a good lap. Juicerom's really not seeming to like the track. You get... It's 6 points.
Very interesting.
I mean, theoretically, he needs to have 7 points, and then...
OTBC's...
Oh, that's OTBC's lap ruined as he... That's Indianapolis.
Oh, he might have time for 1 more, if he's quick enough.
I don't think so. He's gonna have to set 3:55. Something like that. So that is promising for Vassman. Online Cruiser, he's got a penalty as well, so Vassman, it's looking promising for his first pole. But OTBC, the only way he can win the championship, right? The only way that OTBC can win the championship, he has to outscore Juicerom by 7 points here, and then Juicerom has to score no points next round. If he outscores him by 7 points, he will be within that 18-point reach. No, it's 5 points he needs to outscore him by, so we'll be within that 18-point reach, which is the max score you can get. But that does mean Juice Rom has to then score has to get no score at spot, which is unlikely. Through the forward chicane then. It's a very shaky exit for OTBC, and this is not going to be the best lap. But it is a long lap, there's a lot of time to be gained across the line. Checker flags out. He goes third, so it's not bad. That's not bad from him. Online Cruiser, where's he? He's got 3/10 on his penalty to serve as he's coming down towards the Porsche curves. Yes, I don't think he's been outside the top 3. Knock and bolt says track limits. Track limits here is going to be vital. And Juice Ram is now really going to be pushing.
There comes Vasily Cook. Oh, he's gonna ruin that last one.
It's a penalty for Juice Ram as well, so I'm convinced now, Online Cruiser, as he's coming through corner, he's still got his penalty to serve. Is it safe to say, unless Mr. Osaka's improving, he's not purple, he's got to find 3.5 seconds, as he is also coming through. He's coming through the Porsche curves. So Online Cruiser, very shaky through the final turn across the line, he won't improve. The last Vaseline Cock he got the checker Vaseline Cock has. He's not going to be happy. 6th, that's not the best. Juice Rom's down in 7th. Mr. Osaka, the only person I can really say can knock Vassman off of pole round the final chicane then, keeping it tight as possible. Through the final chicane then, taking as much track limits as he can. Across the line. 3rd for Mr. Osaka. It is pole for Vassman. And then it's 2-3 for Double West Motorsport. That, yeah, I've just said Double West, haven't I? It's just West. It's just Motorsport West.
This is Motorsport West.
And Prada, where's Prada? Prada has been kicked up. Oh, guys, Prada's backed out, hasn't he?
Someone's backed
Prada's out.
That was like he's. Oh fuck! What's that gonna do?
He's not racing.
Oh, Brada, mate.
Because qualifying's done. That's twice he's done that now, and every time he's raced. Juice Ram is getting his donuts in. Juice is starting 8th. Shrengu, he's in 9th. It's a very distant qualifying from everyone, and people are actually on their lap. Noffelholm was actually on a lap. Everyone's just, there's a few minutes just to kill. Now, theoretically, what we could do, we could let Prada race, but it will mean manually setting the grid.
Do you want me to write down all these, yeah?
Can you quickly do so for me? We've got a minute.
Right.
One minute. Oh, only 8 people watching, that's really annoying. Can you lot share the stream out for me?
You do, Casey. I'm gonna write down all these names. Right, so we got Vazman. We got Online Cruiser.
Anyone, your friends.
Senor Osaka.
Because why have we only got 7? I mean, we got 25 last week. So Vassman, Cruiser, Osaka, OTBC, Noffel, Gossal, Vaslin Cock, Juice Realm. Shrengu, Knock and Bolts, Kavuk, and then Prada.
Vaslin. Juice is down in 8th. Damn. Shregu, Noffel, Shregu. Knock. And Kavuk. Alright. That's all set there. So you can
oh, just no, never mind.
Oh, he's left.
Never mind.
All that hard work.
Oh, fuck's sake. This is really... Don't back out. Don't back out. Please don't back out.
gonna back out.
Fucking hell, that's twice now he's backed out. Because last time he was in the race, we had to restart quali because he backed out.
Was that Laguna, was it?
Yep.
Yeah, I remember.
God, do not! Please type! So then, away they go. Vassman's going to have a really big lead down towards turn 1. The chicane's going to cause some problems. Online Cruiser, he's going to have to hope that Slipstream can really give him the suck. OTBC, he's trying to gain some vital points in the championship. As his teammate, Juicerom is down in 8th, he's in 4th. He's going to try and make swerve, and maybe he can challenge for his first one of the season. We're already seeing some side-by-side action as Vaseline Cock, he's trying to make his way through Gossow's. Gossow defends around the outside. There's a bit of contact. It's going to be inside line into towards the Dunlop chicane. Off the Honk goes really deep, but Vaseline Cock's got through on his Turkish livery. Followed by Juice, Realm, Shrengu, and Knock and Bolts. So then after the first little bit down towards Treacherous, Vassman, he already has 2 second lead. That's brilliant from him.
Awful Hog could be in no man's land here.
Down towards the through Treacherous, down towards the Moorsland Straight. Yeah, not for Honk's already in no man's land. So already seeing a big stretches. That's a 1.5 second penalty front. OTBC is Vaseline Cock and Gossow really getting their elbows out down the straight.
Batman Vasa, he's pulled a massive lead.
Mr. Osaka's also got past Online Cruiser, and these two now need to work together to try and make their way up and catch up Vassman.
Get big points for Sport West. Yeah.
Now, Vassman may have the pace, but does he have the strategy? We know BNR don't necessarily have the pace, or they have the pace but don't have the strategy. Could this be a turn of luck for them? Can-Am Racing don't seem to be having as much pace as they have. As OTBC, he's already got a 1.5 second penalty. He probably could serve it down towards Arnage, Indianapolis and Moorsland Corner, and maybe some of the chicanes as well. The way these two are fighting, they're not going to let it. They're not going to let him go easy. He's going to try. He can't really find a way through into the Michelin chicane. He's got right to the back of them, but we know Vaseline Cock. Vaseline Cock won't let him go easy, though.
Oh, you definitely won't. Yeah.
There won't be a change in position. There's a 22-point gap. OTBC needs to.
That's going by 6, isn't it?
I see in the back of Honk as well. He's gone very wide. Now, in terms of the championship. Yeah, but now he's caught right onto the back of Juice Rom's now right onto the back of him. He's going to be tucked right into the slipstream down towards Indianapolis. It's going to be a great overtaking spot here. Heavy braking zone. Porsche versus BMW. Juice Rom needs this spot, but the more these three fight, the more Shrengu at the back as well. He's looking like Shrengu actually is in the back. Shrengu could be looking to score his first points this season.
He is close on Juice Rom's tail.
As Shrengu goes quite deep, and that's a lot of time lost. Gossow's got a bit of a penalty as well, but Mr. Osaka, he's closed down the gap between himself and Vassman. And OTBC, in terms of the championship, what this means is there's a 22-point gap between OTBC and Juice Rom. There's 38 points up for grabs. 36 points, sorry, up for grabs maximum. If OTBC outscores Juice by 5 points, it will go to the next round, which means OTBC will have to win with fastest lap and pole position. Right? So it is really looking like it can go down to the wire here, as OTBC's eyeing up Mr. Osaka in second. Down towards the 4 chicane they go. OTBC, he's weaving about, he's trying to find a way through. It's not a great overtaking spot here. He's just going to stick behind Mr. Osaka for now, but they really need to stop bump drafting, and that could actually be a good strategy between these two. They could work together as they come across the line for the first lap. Vassman leads with a 3.2 second gap. OTBC and Mr. Osaka's OTBC 2.4 second penalty further back. Nothong's going to be a bit under pressure from Gossow, Vaseline Cock, and that sort of trade. Jushan's quite off the back of it as well. Has he had a mistake somewhere? Noffelhonk, he's looking for his best race of the season so far, and that Lexus, the Swede, he's hoping to have a good race as Gossau, he's right on the back of him, but he also has that penalty he's got to find at the front. Vassman, he's pulling away. Double C so far, having quite a good race. And the real threats, the threats are squabbling and have a penalty. Online Cruiser, he doesn't need to get himself up there and try and help his teammate, but 2.4 seconds worth of penalty, and OTBC's only got 10th off of what it originally was. It's not looking good for him.
He's gaining. He's 4-second lead.
Maybe at the start he just went pedal to the metal, and you see he probably on his way towards Tret Rouge in the first sector. He just went flat out when I've got to get this lead, which is respectable. It's understandable. It's what you want to do. Noffelhonk, Gossau's got a 1.7 second penalty, and Juicrom, he's had a mistake. Juicrom, he's ghosted yellow flags and down towards the Morzan straight, and what's happened with Knock and Bolts as well? Knock and Bolts is down in 9th.
Oh, Online Cruiser, what's he gonna do?
Well, it's early days, you don't want to be going full sender. There probably is a bit of fuel saving coming from Cruiser. I mean, Cruiser, West Motorsport and JD, they work really well together. And JD is a strategy master, only bested at time. He is the only person strategy-wise that could, in Division 1, that could probably match Ruben. And when you've got someone like that working with you and basically being a race engineer, which JD is basically a race engineer for Double C, not Double C, West Motorsport, Online Cruiser will probably just be probably waiting, because the tyres will last a long time. It's just about how long you can get the fuel to last, and you can already see what we'd normally say is the 5-minute mark is already past it, and the next real indicator is going to be within 3 minutes time and how much fuel they've got, because if they can pull a 2-stop every 20 minutes, which seems to be the normal standard strategy so far this season,
the optimal one anyway,
it will be not necessarily the optimal, but the standard one. Because you've got the standard one, which everyone says there's a bit of a mistake from OTBC on the exit of Arnage, and Online Cruiser is just going to speed past him. And you're not seeing these two work together in the slipstream, because there's now a 2.7 second gap between themselves and Mestro's Soccer, and right now as it stands, OTBC will be getting some massive points here, but he doesn't need to get rid of that penalty, and he's not doing much to help it. You can do some massive lifts into the turns, and those massive lifts as well, you're going to be in the slipstream range, and just taking these big lifts off, they're going to be extremely beneficial to the point where you are also fuel saving, as well as he takes one going through the Porsche curve towards Cart Corner, and that's a big gap in slipstream loss. Sorry for the camera quality through here, it's not the best. And now OTBC is 1.5 seconds outside, which is out of the slipstream range, and I don't know why he lifted off and took so much of the penalty out through the Porsche curves.
Could be listening.
Well, if he's listening, that's not the best, but at the end of lap 2, it's weird to say we're 2 laps in, we're nearly 10 minutes down, as Vassman's got a 5.5 second lead, and so far the Ukrainian, this is a brilliant race for him. And more Germans on the podium. So far, more Germans on the podium. What do you know? We've not actually had a Brit win a race yet. If OTBC can pull something magical out back, he'll be the first Brit to win a race in this championship, but he's got another penalty to add on to that. 2.6 seconds now. He really needs to be careful of the track limits, as Gossau, he's in 5th. He's having a brilliant race. His aim for the season is top 5 with a 1.6 second penalty, and Vasilinkov tries to go around the outside through VS's down towards Tret Rouge on Noffelhonk. Noffelhonk just about defends it, but Vasilinkov, you know what he's like, he's gonna get his elbows out, down towards Tret Rouge, through Morzan. It's a bit of a mistake there through Noffelhonk through Tret Rouge. And Vasilinkov, he's just moving around the place, trying to find a gap. He's just trying to stick to the slipstream as much as he can, and maybe just bump draft a little here. Work together, work with the guy in front of you, but maybe bit of slipstream as well. That's a brilliant Turkish-inspired livery from the Dutch/Turk as they go down towards the first chicane. Down the inside, Vaslin Koch. Is he going to have to move Don as he ghosts a bit? Tets with his penalty. And that was actually quite good. The ghosting helped him there. It was really under pressure. Juice has actually been passed by Knock and Bolts, yes, but not Juice. Get back. Has Online Cruiser been doing enough fuel saving? I wouldn't necessarily say. I think the only fuel saving that Online Cruiser's got is probably into the
massive penalty.
well, I think he reset. There was no penalty there, but Online Cruiser. I think what Online Cruiser is doing is smart because going in towards the second chicane, I don't think he's actually necessarily going for a move. Because I think Online Cruiser knows if he goes for a move there, A, he's going to lose time, and B, OTBC will just get him back at Morzantur. Which is actually quite smart from Online Cruiser, because it's very much like, if you pass them, they're just going to pass you over the next chance round. Because
he obviously knows OTBC is a massive penalty as well.
Well, if he was more worried about the penalty, he will just go through and not get held up and want to catch his teammate, but...
Well, he can fuel save.
Yes, but you could go for the fuel save, but Mr. Osaka's on about him with the teammate of Online Cruiser. I mean, this is brilliant. Mr. Osaka got points in his debut and now he's running in second. Granted, he's 6.5 seconds behind Vassman Vasta, but this is a brilliant race from Vassman so far, as everyone is penalty heaven. If you haven't got a penalty, you're doing something right.
I'll be right back.
Vassman hasn't got a penalty. Osaka penalty. OTBC penalty. Online Cruiser penalty. Gostal penalty. Vaslin Koch penalty. Novel Honk no penalty. And I think Drewstrong just served another penalty. And this is really not good. So if we quickly think about the points here, for fourth you get 8 points. And Juice is so far going to get none. And there's a chance that OTBC is actually going to get 10. That'll take the gap down to 12 points, which will be quite amazing. His fuel is actually, I mean, his tyres, Mr. Osaka's tyres are actually quite worse. Not quite, but only a tiny bit, because the tyres around here aren't the worry, but it is, the worry is fuel, and the fuel in the second half of the thing I mean, the fuel around here, not just around here, but the fuel whenever is quite important. I mean, the fuel, the pit stops we've actually had from the fuel and the time gained with the fuel has actually determined a lot of races. When you think about Ruben, the fuel is big, as we see OTBC now getting past Mr. Osaka as he's caught up to him. And this is almost like a cycling race when you think about it. Someone makes a break, and we slow down and get eaten up. But the more of these lot squabble as well, instead of they could be working together. Someone could be burning more fuel, but the gap he pulls out could be beneficial enough where it doesn't matter. Where he will have that cover, he will have the coverage of the fuel, and then he'll be able to do again, rinse and repeat. But if he does come out within these guys, they can just slipstream him and effectively let Vassman do all the donkey work. And if you let Vassman do all the donkey work, they're going to be saving a lot more fuel stuck to the back of you, because of the slipstream you're not really going to be able to escape much. And it's going to be problematic. But Vassman Vassa, he's 18 points. He will double his points total if he finishes this way. Fastest lap, pole, and the race win. Seems quite typical in this league. Whoever gets pole will normally win with the fastest lap. It is quite typical. Unless your name's Ruben, then it is what it is. But yeah, Vassman will then go up to 36 points. Online Cruiser, where he is 10 points, he will go on to 30. So Vassman will jump Online Cruiser. Vaslin Koch Vasilinkov won't get jumped, but it will close the gap dramatically between him and Vassman. But the big gap we really need to be focusing on, OTBC and Juice ROM so far. I mean, the way this could actually end up, this is very much like a cycling race. You don't know who's going to get it, and whoever makes a break will then have to back up a bit. Because whoever makes a break, they're normally going to get eaten up anyways, unless he names Vassman. As Vassman's pace is slowed down a bit, I think he may have been comfortable with the gap. He's got 5 minutes left, and maybe Vassman's just going for the, you know, the standard every 20 minutes. And he's got his first penalty of the race as well. Mr. Osaka, brilliant performance from him, no matter what. Meaning, three different teams in the top 3. Saves it. He's lost a bit more time off his penalty, but he will be eaten back into that further back. Gossau and Vasilinkov see them in the background. Nearly 3 seconds worth of penalties for Gossau. Not for Honk. He's going to be gutted after that mistake, but he doesn't have a penalty, so that's all good. Juice down in 9th. Shrengu, yeah, Shrengu. Actually, he catches the wall down at Arnage, and at the start of the race, he was looking promising for his first point scoring position, but now he's going to be under threat by Kavak for last. Vassman, he comes through the 4th chicane, now the final chicane. He could theoretically just get rid of all of his penalties. He may not want to right now. But OTBC's now got himself back in 2nd, and it's a very back and forth race. It's very strategy based. You really don't want to be leading, which, looking at everyone's fuel so far, I mean, Vassman's now on par with them when it comes to fuel. And online cruiser, Gossau pits, Vasilinkov pits. Something I'd also like to talk about, Kavak's on medium, so what's his plan? Is he planning to just not switch tyres at all? I mean, another thing to bring up though, if Kavak's not going for any pits, OTBC's tyres are better than Kavak's mediums. As what's happened with Mr. Osaka as well, as OTBC's got a 2-second lead now. So Mr. Osaka will not be getting the benefit of slipstream from him, or not by much anyway, so what's really his plan is online cruising now falling off, and this gap of 4 is really, they're starting to be strung out a bit here. As everyone pitting before the 20-minute mark, so you have to worry, they may end up having to pit within the final 5 minutes and stuff. But how much time will that actually gain him, though, is the real question, because it's much, but not by much. So how much time will he actually gain? Because a few seconds, fine, but he's 44 seconds off the pace already. I mean, Mr. Osaka is now closing back into OTBC, but this is very much strategy based, and I think these guys, I know we're only a third of the way into the race, we're 20 minutes in, but a lot of these guys are probably now thinking the best we can do is 2nd. But it's very much like a marathon race or a skiing race. You don't want to be leading at the front, because if you're doing all the work, everyone else behind you can just go half-ass. They're not burning as much fuel. They can just sit back and relax. They're not doing as much. Because the guy at front will be at full fuel, and the others behind, they could be sportsmanlike and share the work at the front, which has only really happened due to mistakes, and you're not really seeing anyone swap around a bit, especially when you're not online cruiser as OTBC through Indianapolis. He gets onto the gravel. Arnage, let's see what his exit Arnage is like. He goes very wide, and yeah, loses a lot of time there. looking at fuel as well. OTBC Online Cruiser will be in this lap. Everyone, oh! Mr. Osaka follows him through, and they're all on. It's a bit of a poor rejoin onto the track because OTBC gets quite out, and wow, he's now down into 4th. So Online Cruiser's now got through, and Online Cruiser, he's now right onto the back of Mr. Osaka. He gets a really good exit through car, and it doesn't really matter. There's not going to be any overtaking spots really. As Online Cruiser will probably just use this time to back off now. As into the pits comes everyone. Vassman's he's also on his tanks drained, and now it's going to be a case of who follows. It's a following game. It's a following man's game here in Div 2. If someone out, whoever does it in front will be pitting. We know Noffelhonk will be pitting this lap. Eyes up, and in he goes. Juice Rome. He's coming through the Porsche curves. Will Juice Rome be able to go another lap? Maybe. Will Juice Rome go another lap? But if he sees everyone else pit, I would just take the less time. I would take the less fuel. I'll take the few seconds you will be gaining. But we've seen Juice Rome not do it before, but he does it this time. Into the pits goes the Canadian. Kavak, he also follows. He's having a good race so far. Vasilinkov, he's got a full tank. Let's see how much he'll gain. Vaselinkov's also got past Gossau, so I think he's net 5th. So it'll be interesting to see where they come out. Vassman, he's out. So Vassman, he now leaves the pits. He's going to be up towards the Dunlop chicane. Vasilinkov. Let's see, who's leaving the pits? Mr. Osaka. There's time gained for the guys further back because the the West Motorsport guys, they're battling on exit zones, have a coming together. But Vasilinkov and Gossau have actually gained some time. They have taken fresh tyres as well. So the massive undercut has actually quite helped them there. But if they're going for a different strategy, maybe not. As Vasilinkov actually really on the back of OTBC. So for less fuel and the fresh rubber, it's a big undercut gain. But they may be looking at an extra stop. So which one would you rather take the risk with, the extra stop or the long running? As Kavak, he's still in the pits. He's on the mediums, and Vassman's actually gained some time. 12 seconds as the West Motorsport, not Double West. The West Motorsport boys, Mr. Osaka and Online Cruiser, down towards the first chicane of the Morzan Straight. When you think Le Mans, what do you really think of? You would though, let's be honest. You're a very old-fashioned teenager, you would. Audi... Yo, you'd always think... You think of Ferrari when you're on the toilet. Well... I mean, the Audi and Porsche, the most successful team around Le Mans. They've got the most overall victories. I mean, it's a real shame though this year. Le Mans, the most competitive class at Le Mans, which is the GT Pro. Four cars on the grid, 2 Porsches and 2 Ferraris, I believe. And the GT grid, GT endurance is going really down. I mean, for hypercar to really be a competitive class this year at Le Mans, and probably throughout most of the WEC grid, it's not going to be that good for the LMP1 cars. Casey, have you got your mic settings right? Check it. I can hear you. Brian can't. No one can hear you. I have no idea. You have to ask them. Well, we'll say in a minute. But now, after the pit stops, everyone's a bit closer other than Vassman, who so far Vassman, unless Vassman is a big crash, which is still possible, but I think B&R Racing, they're having a good strategy. They're sticking to what is the normal strategy instead of doing some weird stuff which they normally do with softs. I mean, playing around with the mediums. They always seem to like to play around with the mediums, and it's not really an ideal. It's not a good thing to do, playing around with the mediums, in my opinion, because in this game they're not that good for mediums. I mean, worn softs are quicker than normal mediums, to put it into context. But Yeah, and I warned you, don't do it, don't do it. And you're like, I'm gonna do it. But coming through corner at the end of lap 6, Mr. Osakari gets a bit onto the rumble strip. It's going a lot. I mean, the positions may actually be gained on penalties, and if there was a Constructors' Championship, this is brilliant for the boys in green and blue, the Germans at Motorsport West. But Vassman so far, B&R Racing, we're going to be loving this. This will be B&R's first win. I know there's 35 minutes to go, but so far he's looked flawless. Vaseline Cock right onto the back of Gossau. He's now going to go through down towards the S's, and Gossau's going to fight. They're both getting penalties. They're both near enough at 5 seconds worth of penalties here. God, if this is penalty heaven around here, and this is at the lenient track limits as well. OTBC, he's a second off, so he's now in the slipstream range of Online Cruiser, but he does need to start getting rid of more of that penalty. And since the pit release, Mr. Osaka, he's led all the way through, so should I keep wanting to say double C. Should the West Motorsport, should they swap positions and let Cruiser lead for a bit? So if you let Online Cruiser lead for a bit, that allows Mr. Osaka to gain back some fuel and maybe balance it out a bit. I would more say I wouldn't say try and pull a gap to OTBC. I'd say more or less try and pull a gap, or try and close the gap to Vassman, because Vassman is in clean air, he's got no slipstream, and if you do keep the bump draft, eventually you should be gaining a few tenths down each straight. So a second a lap from the bump draft could be quite beneficial. Yeah. I mean, Gossau 6.3 seconds worth of penalty, and it's not being helped by the fact that Vaselincock and Gossau are just completely elbows out, and if they just do a bit of bump drafting NASCAR style, they can close the gap to OTC a bit more, and OTBC is actually the poor line through Indianapolis and Arnage, and lost a fair bit of time, especially to the guys ahead, and OTBC does want to be catching up to them. And if you let Vaselincock catch up to you, Vaselincock is not going to let you go easy. Vaselincock is going to try and get past you, and OTBC doesn't need that, because ideally, to have any chance of a championship, he needs third. And the more points OTBC gets, because it's not looking good for Juicerom down in 9th, in the middle of no man's land. He's gone off, yeah, down at Indianapolis. Vaselincock, he's gone off down towards Arnage. He's lost a lot of time now on Gossau. That's going to be a sigh of relief from the American. I think he's going to be quite pleased with that. As OTBC seems to be getting to the slipstream range and then just loses it, which isn't ideal at all. You don't want that to be happening. You do want to be closing the gap a bit more, but OTBC just can't seem to do it, because once he gets into the slipstream range, he then loses it through the technical bits, which is poor. Apparently the others can't hear you, Casey. Apparently the others can't hear you. No, they can't. Have you checked the party settings to make sure your voice is shared?
Hello everyone.
Why didn't you do it the first time I told you? Why didn't I tell you the first time I said? Like, why didn't you check then? Dano's gone to eat dinner, that's why he's gone, but why didn't you check? Like, yeah, the first time I said. You said it, you said you'd thought you'd fixed it.
Yeah, I turned my mic up.
Oh, you idiot.
Sorry, I misinterpreted it.
OTBC.
Bassman's
He's now
pulled a
OTBC.
second.
He's now right onto the back of him as he sets a purple lap as well. This would be good for OTBC if he can at least take the fastest lap, because that's an extra point. He's tucked right into the slipstream with the boys in green. And will he go for the move? I wouldn't go. I mean, I think this may now be won by who's got the most penalty this battle for second. Is that Mr. Osaka letting Online Cruiser through? Is it? It is. OTBC's looking for the move. That's not ideal. Maybe splitting the Double C Motorsport guys might be beneficial. It's through into second as OTBC goes very deep, and that's not going to help his chances at all. Heads for two go through, and that may be the sort of thing which is why OTBC's struggling to keep up at the back there. As he's now going to lose a second, and what I was about to say is don't go for the move. Don't be so aggressive. Sit in the slipstream. As now, Gossau, he's on the back end. Gossau, despite his 8 seconds worth of penalties, I mean, Vaslinkock is on the threat from Vaslinkock with the penalties. Then again, the 3 seconds worth of penalty is going to be close between both of the finishes as it is with the penalty wise. But OTBC is closing back into the guys behind, and he really does need to stop pushing and start working to get time off of that penalty. Because with how close the slipstream is, lift off into the corners massively. You can do some massive lifts, which will save you a lot of time. Like, especially into Morzan corner, because it's not quite flat into the Little Kink. And into Indianapolis as well. It's less risk, it may not be as much time gain, but in the slipstream you gain it all back anyway, so get rid of that penalty. You really need to be starting to chop. You need to start chopping time off of that. As Mr. Osaka's done it, he's in second cleanly. And despite Mr. Osaka's led this entire second stint up at the front here, up in this chase group, their fuel is the second, third, fourth fuel is even. Then there's Gossau, who's got a quarter of a tank left.
That is not much. He's definitely not going to make it to the... Well,
he's not going to be making it to the ideal window. But Motorsport West, this is brilliant from these guys.
Crucial mistake from OTBC. Unfortunately, he's lost so much time. 2.4 seconds.
I mean, through the straights, I think because of the bump drafting that is going on with West Motorsport, or Motorsport West, that they really aren't... The OTBC is really not getting any benefit. Because through the technical bits, now look, it's gone down by a second. With the dirt, yeah, Online Cruiser is now struggling. Are we going to see a change in position? Yes, Online Cruiser's got through, and now through Kart Corner they go. OTBC, he's now right into slipstream range because the mistaker now, he's not necessarily got to worry about feeding Gossau. You don't be feeding the Americans, we're British, we don't really like them. Through the final chicane to start lap 9. And Vassman, he's already coming through Dunlop chicane. He's got a 30-second gap as Gossau and Vaslinkock are in. Both of them have a lot of fuel, but I don't know what they're doing. I can't really tell what strategy. I think they're going to go for a free stop. It's pretty much guaranteed, but there's a lot of penalty for them to lose. As Online Cruiser, he's now going to be at the front trying to do some donkey work. But OTBC, what I would recommend to him now is I think that's more penalties being given as it is. We see that flashing. I don't know why he's being so aggressive on the turns like he needs to make a place, because making the places is so early on, it's stupid. Just sit in the slipstream and go for it. Is he trying to go for a move there? I don't, through Tretch Rouge. He's now out of the slipstream, he's now not getting the benefit. I don't know why he's going for it. He's now going to the inside line, going through this little kick down towards Morzan. But it's not needed. You don't need to be going for stuff like this. It is pointless. Just sit in the back. OTBC is the biggest loser out of this group here. And yes, Motorsport West can't bump draft, but OTBC's aggression when he's in the slipstream, any time gained and any move that you gain through the technical bits, it's just going to be lost. And I think we're going to see it again here. It's down towards down for Michelin chicane. He's going to try and go for a move again when he shouldn't, because he's still got that 3.6 seconds worth of penalty. and he's not got any of it off. It's just been kept going up because he's just cutting the corners, trying to gain as much time as possible when he's already in the slipstream range, which really isn't needed.
One thing to point out, Juice is having a terrible race, down in 10th.
Down in 10th now, yeah, Shrengo's got past him. I think Juice has just thrown this one away. He's just trying to do what he can because he seems to have lost all will to do it, as now Mr. Osaka's right onto the back of Online Cruiser. Bit of bump drafting going on as Mr. Osaka, he's now got past, and this isn't good as, yes, Online Cruiser now tucks in. I think they might do the same thing again as you see OTBC. He's losing a lot of time. Well, not a lot, but he's losing a bit of time, and through into the turns like that, he just needs to get rid of his penalty. And yes, the drivers can curse out how bad the track limits are around here, but at a certain extent there are many ways you can get rid of the penalty so easily, and if you're not going to do it, that's on your part, that's on your behalf if you can't find ways to easily benefit from having to serve a bit of a penalty.
Bassman's pulled three more tenths on the Online Kreutzer tries to make a move on Osaka. They're under pressure.
I don't necessarily think he was trying to go for a move there, but I think as Mr. Osaka, he's actually gone purple as the run down towards Arnage. I don't necessarily think he was trying to go for a move, but I think he may have been caught out by Osaka's braking.
Yeah.
And OTBC really should be benefiting from this. He's right at the back. He has to do the least work out of all of them. He can just sit back and do fuck all, but he's not. And it's now OTBC's now really, he's making poor choices as an Online Cruiser. He gets a bit on the grass there going into the Porsche curves. And Osaka is the barrier into the second part of the Porsche curves, and is OTBC going to go for the move? He may have to at this point going into kart corner, as he's got the momentum and he doesn't really want to lose touch with Online Cruiser. Online Cruiser runs very wide. I think Osaka's got the speed now, as that's more
OTBC
penalty for Online Cruiser. OTBC, lift off massively here. Please don't go for the move. No, he just takes it normally.
OTBC is probably going to hold out until he gets that slipstream down that massive back straight.
He's going to go for the moves, which isn't really ideal as Online Cruiser. He's putting out to the Online Cruiser's going to pull out, and he's going to try and tuck in instantly, I think, because he does lift off. But again, more of his penalty gone. Yes, he's going to try and tuck into his teammate. No, OTBC's. This could be brilliant from OTBC if he's able to split them, and he has. That is brilliant. And now he needs to hold position here. He has to hold position here, because now they can't do the bump drafting that they had been doing, and now Mr. Osaka can actually benefit the biggest from here. But it means the West Motorsport guys are not going to be fully flying away, as he's actually now trying to go through again. There's another corner cut penalty. I don't know why OTBC is so aggressive. There's no, in an endurance race that's an hour long, it's not like a sprint race where every position counts. If you don't get the move done now, you just lost out. There's still 20 minutes. There's another pit stop, for Christ's sake. You don't need to be being so reckless and burning out everything you've got, because he's going to be put fourth here, and it's not needed.
It might be worth OTBC pitting early and getting the overcut, because he'll probably be a lap earlier and I'm not sure.
Will he fit into the pit window though? That's the question, because if he pits now,
I think he will.
He will be in within the 20-minute windows, but I think everyone else will be pitting the slap as well. I don't think they'll have enough fuel to sufficiently go, and that's a big lag spike there by Mr. Osaka, I believe, as OTBC's not going wide on Online Cruiser. He's going to be tucked right into the slipstream. He's going to go past again, and 5.5 second penalties. OTBC, I know OTBC, he's very young, he's a kid, and I think this aggression, I think his youth and lack of maturity is showing through here, as he's just thinking that every position counts instead of being patient and just letting it run through. Letting the race unfold, and 5.5 seconds worth of penalties. Yes, I know the track limits have been terrible, but if you keep pushing, you know that you're getting penalties, so don't keep pushing. Because you can then argue, well, everyone else is pushing it, but they're then going to get penalties. So
Bassman's definitely pitting this lap. He's got hardly any fuel left.
I think that'll be everyone else as well. As they've still
Yeah.
got 2 big straights to go. As they're halfway down and they're on towards Indianapolis, and then they've still got to run down towards Porsche curves. As Mr. Osaka,
OTBC's got his fuel line.
yes, and now Mr. Osaka's got the fuel light, and here we go. Online cruiser, 3, 2, 1, fuel light. Not quite.
Not quite. Not yet.
He will have the fuel light though.
Yeah, in a second.
But this is brilliant. Vassman is having a 16 seconds lead. This is brilliant from the Ukrainian. He's timed his fuel perfectly as well, near enough, and unless he's a big crash where he's stuck into the barriers and has a bit of damage, this is looking like a brilliant result for BNR. Mr. Osaka, more penalty from me. He got a second from the track limits, but does OTBC now lift off and get most of it done in, get rid of some of his penalty here? So if I was him, I would just lift off and brake into, I would get some of your penalty done into the pits. Let's see, what does he do?
I'm not sure about for Le Mans. But
Mr. Osaka's into the wall, and then Online Cruise also caught it there. Well, that's that's not what you want to be doing. Noffelhonk's double stinted his tyres as well, as Gossau's got 12 seconds worth of penalties. Noffelhonk's double stinted his tyres, and this is a brilliant result from Noffelhonk as well, as Gossau may get past him, but if Noffelhonk can end up in 5th here, that'll be his best result of the season, and Gossau with 12 seconds worth of penalties. Yeah, it's showing.
It's
Vassman, he's out. Vassman's actually got a big gain from the guys ahead here. Who's going to be out first though? Gossau, he's...
I expect.
Gossau, where's he actually? Where's everyone else come out ahead of Gossau? Vassman caught through the final chicane. He's a bit shaky. OTBC jumped Online Cruiser. And Mr. Osaka as well, and Gossau, he's gone ding dong, hello, I'm back, and he's in the slipstream of Mr. Osaka. But he will be pitting again, I believe, as that might be more penalties for turn 3. Well, yes, and it is more penalties. Gossau is really having a field day with these penalties. Noffelhonk, he's into the pits. As now people are pitted ahead of him. Juicerome, he's coming through. Juicerome. Gosh, when did Juicerome pit? Because his fuel's actually doing quite well, and if he can salvage at least a point, that would be a brilliant result, in my opinion. But OTBC, 5.2 seconds worth of penalties. I would, if I was him, I would pull out, lift off, let Online Cruiser through. Gossau actually got past Mr. Osaka prematurely. But if those two further back in 4th and 5th fight, that could invite Vaslinkok and OTBC really now, with 17 minutes to go, has to start working down that penalty, because it is showing that he has the pace. He has the pace in the technical sections of the end of the first and start of the first sectors.
Because that penalty could knock him down.
That penalty, not 5th because of Gossau's penalty, but definitely
4th.
Oh, well, we have to consider everyone else's penalties as well around, but at some point OTBC has to get rid of some of his penalty. I mean, if he could, if he drops off to the back of Gossau, he'll have the slip, just lift off straight over to the back of Gossau, and he'll still be in the slipstream. I mean, that's 2 seconds, I'd predict, if he lifts off then, and just stays at the back of this group of 4. As I see, going down towards Morzan Corner, Online Cruiser does it, Mr. Osaka does it. But they're just not choosing to go for these liftoffs and fuel-wise as well. OTBC, I think he took less fuel, but down towards Indianapolis, Mr. Osaka, he'll get past him, and now OTBC really has to start thinking about where can I get rid of some of this penalty. But he's not, which is concerning in my opinion, as Gossau, he's onto the grass, as he's actually been a bit squeezed out by Online Cruiser. As we see, OTBC's got rid of a bit of his penalty. He also has to be in this final stint. There is a chance he can salvage second here. His Online Cruiser's got more penalty as well, but he really has to be careful of track limits. And so far, Mr. Osaka's been the only one to do that.
This is an absolute train from P2 to P5. Slipstream.
It's what we expected, though. I mean, Gossau, he's going to fall off big time as he's tie where he pitted a lot earlier. He's going to have to pit again. So we're going to have a group of 3 battling it out for second at the end of this. And OTBC split the West Motorsport guys, and see Vasilinkov, he's in the distance, he could also catch up to them as well. And if Vasilinkov can make contact with this group, OTBC really should just lift off and go to the back and then work his way up with the slipstream, because you can't do it. And there's so many places where in a lap you probably could get rid of 5 seconds. So what? In towards turn 1?
Hello?
In towards turn 1, the first chicane, the second chicane, Morzan, Indianapolis, Porsche curves. There's a lot of places you can get rid of penalties, and OTBC is just not doing it. I mean, Gossau as well. Gossau theoretically, with just over 14 minutes to go, could actually get rid of 14 seconds worth of penalty and still be in contact with this group. It's not going to happen, I don't think, because of the way these guys are going, and OTBC did a poor run through Dunlop. Now he's right onto the back of these guys. And what we've seen is as well, now Gossau's got another stop.
15-second penalty.
Yeah.
What happened to him?
Not giving a shit about track limits.
I mean,
what's annoying, people are complaining about track limits, but then they'll go and do, I mean, we're 45 minutes into this race, or just over that, so you will know where you're getting penalties from track limits, so why are you still doing it? Track limits may be stupid, but don't go and repeat it when you know where you're getting the penalties from. And OTBC, I mean, if I was OTBC, literally drop off a few, just lose 7 attempts into every heavy braking zone. You'll still be in the slipstream range. Going into the next heavy braking zone, you'll be on the back of the car ahead instantly. But no, OTBC's thinking he's got to get the position done now. But if you go, say, going down towards the second chicane,
lift off here.
Yeah.
Into this break.
OTBC, I think he's probably going to go for the move on Mr. Osaka, which he doesn't know. He gets more penalty. He gets rid of a bit of his penalty, but not much, which he probably could have got a bit more off. And he's really focused on staying to the back of this group, or staying onto the back of Mr. Osaka, which you don't need to. And he probably could lift off every time he touches the back of him, and he'll still be in contact. Because of that's how good the slipstream is around here. But if he goes for the move into the second chicane, down towards Morzan, he's going to be pipped again. And at the end of it, let's quickly work it out. So if you're in the run down towards turn 1 and you pass, so if Mr. Osaka's in second, OTBC passes into 1, then down into the first chicane. Osaka will then go back into second, then into the second chicane. OTBC will then get past, then down towards Morzan it will be Mr. Osaka, then OTBC down at Indianapolis, and Mr. Osaka down. And so, if you every straight you keep passing, Mr. Osaka will then get past him eventually anyway.
I'll be back.
Yeah.
Which is not good, and for the past few laps, at 5 seconds worth of penalty, and you've got a 10th off, that's not good, as you see Online Cruiser in the background going very shaky at his rear. I mean, if he could at least salvage third with Online Cruiser's bunch of penalty, that will be a win. But he at least needs to find 2 seconds worth off of that penalty. But there's still a chance he can get second here as he goes for the move down towards the Porsche curve. Someone needs to tell this man at Can-Am Racing, get rid of that penalty. You haven't got to get rid of all of it. You've got how many heavy braking? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 heavy braking zones, and there's contact, and OTBC's into the gravel, and just as we were talking about, he's gone down into 5th, and Vaslinkock may have him here as he's coming through car corner. What happened there? He tries to go, he got onto the grass. Going in towards the car, he gets onto the grass. Mr. Osaka didn't even touch him as Vaslinkock's into the pits.
He tried an audacious move around the outside of looks of it.
His youth and immaturity is showing through here. He's thinking he's got to get the move done now. Since we've had 55 minutes to go, he's been racing like it's the last lap, and it's the last chance. Around this track, 20 laps. Juice Realm says it there, and he gets more penalties. And OTBC now, 4th place is going to be the best he can salvage. So I don't think he's going to make contact with the West Motorsport boys. But the way he's been driving, he's just going to go flat out now and let everyone get him. And actually down towards Morzan. That's... Do it before the braking zone, not after.
Oh, Online Kreuz has gone for a move on Mr. Osaka. I think.
These moves that the West Motorsport guys have been doing have been very strategic. They'll let each other pass. I mean, it's very much like a cycling race. One will lead for a bit, then the other will lead for a bit, and it's just back and forth. And it's a strategy man's game. It's like a war. It's not who's got the bigger army. It's whoever's got the better strategy. I mean,
yeah, chess essentially.
Yeah, this is chess on 4 wheels and at 200 miles an hour. Near enough. Because that's effectively what Le Mans is. Whether it's 24 hours or 1 hour.
Batman Vasa had a half-second penalty. You can get rid of that easily and have no worries.
Oh, maybe we could see some donuts for the first time. Vasman Vasa, he's probably going to come across the line and give us 3 laps to go. Maybe? Who knows? But Vassman's led from the start and I think what did it for him initially was everyone else at the back battling allowed Vassman to pull a 3-second gap before he even reached Tret Rouge, which is the turn before Morzan.
And he was just gone.
He was.
No catching him.
And he's setting purple laps as well. And if I was OTBC, just go for fastest lap, salvage an extra point. 9 points gained from this. It will be enough to keep him in the title hunt. He will just have to hope that that Juice has a stinker.
Hiya.
Hello. OTBC, bend it at car, kissed the barrier like heavily. Gossard saying rip to Vaslinkock, and maybe Vaslinkock's gone off or something, I don't know, but 18 seconds off.
OTBC is slowed down to get rid of his penalty.
Don't do it in the brake, or do it. Do it in the brake. Do it before the braking zone, not during it or after it. As he's then going to get a penalty for Arnage.
I don't think so, will he?
Yeah, I think he's going to get a penalty from that move. From that audacious gob lawnmowing at Arnage, and he may just be safe. 22 seconds now, he's got a fine though.
You can really cut that corner, the track limits in that corner.
These Motorsport West boys are not really gonna... I think. Ah, there's some news on why Vaslinkock's got a Turkish livery. Vaslinkock left BNR Racing.
Oh yeah, Brian confirmed it. Did you not hear that over the week?
No. I think he was going to run a goodbye BNR Racing livery.
Then thought maybe I won't.
Yeah.
Well, when he leaves BNR, Vassman's out in front, and well, let's follow Vassman for a lap, because watching the West Motorsport boy or the Motorsport West boys, they've been doing it all race. It's just back. It's like a cycling race here. Boys will be having a special stage route X race. So next lap we'll follow Vassman around for a race and... Well, let's check in on Juicerom. Juicerom can actually salvage a point here. He's on his out lap and he's right on the back of Knock and Bolt. So, Knock and Bolt's actually tyres are screwed. So, yeah, Juicerom, he's going to go past on the run down towards the Porsche curves. And I don't think Knock and Bolts will necessarily have a response. And that is a point gained by Juicerom, which benefits him more than you'd think just that 1 point.
Motorsport West have been helping each other out the whole race, but now, coming to the final minutes of the race, I wonder if they're going to go gloves off to find out to
the last
get
lap.
that position.
I mean, if it stays like this, Mr. Osaka will get second, which will be brilliant. It will be a brilliant result from him. Say he finished 8th last week and now brilliant at Le Mans. On the run then, down towards the Michelin chicane. The Michelin chicane. Michelin, whatever you say. We're in France, let's do it proper French. Michelin. But yes. Michelin.
Online Kreuzer has set 2 purple sectors. It's looking good for him.
Yeah, but he has a
5.3 something.
Well, that's also because of the slipstream benefit, and maybe he's now ahead, and maybe Mr. Osaka gives him a bit of a push, and if they are talking together, they probably should just go, I've got this. Let's at least try and salvage an extra point from here. Because they're not fighting together in the championship, there's no way. There's a big gap between these two. So maybe if Mr. Osaka gets onto the back of him, give him a little push. But if we see this back and forth nonsense, as they will be starting the final lap, who theoretically then we'll find out in a minute, because whoever starts, I think we've seen whoever starts the lap ahead will probably end up ahead. Oh, will it be ahead of the line? Maybe different. There'll probably be some mind games. Whoever's in third will probably just back off. But Online Cruiser, he's got to get rid of some of that penalty and...
Yeah, it just keeps stacking up, it does. It keeps cutting the corner just that little bit.
So Mr. Osaka can just stick back now and... Mr. Osaka's probably fairly confident he's got a second here. I mean, Vassman, he's coming through the Ford chicane. He's got 4 turns to go, and the lap is for the final chicane then to start the final lap. So we're that's a glory lap, and he does go fastest. BNR enjoying.
Online Kreuzer, he keeps setting purple sectors. If he can pull a big enough gap on the final lap, he might be able to hold on to second place.
They're setting purple sectors, but the slipstream range here is so big, he's not going to. Across the line, he does go purple. He sets the fastest lap of the race, the first sub-57 lap in the race. We saw it in qualifying by Vassman, but never since. So Online Cruiser, I think it's almost certain it will take that extra point, as Vassman's probably now going to have a bit of a cruise lap round here.
Vassman, he set his fastest lap just lap
through the first sector.
57.1.
The fastest lap's Online Cruiser.
Yeah, he set his fastest lap just a second ago.
Yeah, I know. What we're saying is Online Cruiser's now got fastest lap. The bonus point. You don't get bonus point for a personal best fastest lap.
Yeah, you got blood.
Yeah, look, he's pulled 2 seconds. I think he's almost out of slipstream range. I think Online Kreuzer,
he may be out of slipstream range, but slowing down for 5 seconds.
I don't think if he pulls a large enough gap in the corners, because the Alfa Romeo is very good in the corners, I think he could get P2. I think he will get P2.
I wouldn't call it no, because you see into the corners he's lost 4 times. The way it's been all race, he hasn't been able to do that. It's near enough 6 seconds worth of... He's not going to be able to pull out 6 seconds. Now, back into the slipstream, Mr. Osaka comes. I mean... Mr. Osaka's not going to go for a move because he knows both of them take each other out. That brings OTBC back into things. No, we're only over a lap to go. But Online Cruiser, see, down the straights, you just can't pull out a big enough gap. Online Cruiser now, if I was him, what he should have done is what I've been saying all fucking race. Lose all the penalty, get to the back of your group, you'll make your way up. If you're stuck in fifth, which is how the biggest the group was, through second to fifth, you're all in slipstream range, so it doesn't really matter. You'll still make your way up the grid anyway. Especially knowing with Gossau had another had another pit stop. Which is why you need to be watching the stream, because Ninan gives some good information. I will not lie.
Online Cruiser could get rid of some of that penalty.
He can get rid of some of it, but he's not going to be able to get rid of all of it.
And he'd probably still have a lead over if he got rid of it in Indianapolis.
Not enough. I mean, he's got 9 tenths. 9 tenths is not 6 seconds.
Yeah, but do that. Yeah.
He probably could have got it. I mean, he's not got rid of any of it this lap, and there's already been 5 major braking spots where you can get rid of it. And then not lose time. But Mr. Osaka is just going to sit here and he's going to have a field day with this, but coming back into the main section of the track then, through kart corner, he's got 4 turns to go. He knows it's his. This man has time. He was fastest in qualifying. He's been flawless throughout. Strategy-wise, he's nailed the fuel on point. 2 turns to go then through the final chicane. Vasser, debut win for him at Le Mans as well. BNR, stand up. Vasser wins round 5 the GTEL Division 2 Championship, and that is a brilliant result from him. An Online Cruiser with the penalties, he's going to be thinking, what if, as he takes a big chunk out of it. It's not going to be enough though. Is he now going to get rid of the rest of it, and on Mr. Osaka, he's going to go through, and Mr. Osaka will then get second. As he actually slowed down a bit, Mr. Osaka gets rid of the rest of his penalty across the line. Mr. Osaka, he will take a brilliant second in his second ever race, where he finished 8th last week, and he'll be happy with 12 points. An Online Cruiser, he'll be bagging 11 points with fastest lap and 3rd place. OTBC, got a feel for him. If he didn't have that mistake, where could he have actually finished? He will go and take 4th. He'll be gaining 7 points on Juice Realm.
His teammate is coming around Indianapolis.
Yeah, down towards Arnold's Juice Realm. He's not going to gain on Nuffle Honk. He's not going to really pass him. So, 7 points gained then for OTBC this round. It's the first time OTBC's actually gained points. So,
the first time he's beaten his teammate and out-qualified him as well.
Yeah. So, 7-point gain in the championship.
And where does that leave the championship standings?
He will take, right, OTBC will then close the gap to 15 points. If OTBC wins next round with fastest lap, and Juice Realm doesn't score, he wins. All Juice Realm needs to do next week is score a point. I think.
Fuck.
I mean, if OTBC then gets pole position as well, it's on. But if OTBC doesn't get pole position, done.
That was an incredible race from Vassman. Absolutely spot on.
Going into next week, if OTBC doesn't get pole position, Juice Realm will be the champion. That's if. Vaseline Cock, he ended up getting 5th as Nuffle Honk actually got 6th due to Gossau's monumental penalty. Juice Realm, he'll be happy with 8th as he goes and gives us the first ever donuts we've seen. Knock and Bolts, he's going to be a bit disappointed with 9th. And then he'll be the last to finish. So, Vassman, he wins in a brilliant performance followed by the Western Motorsport Boys, Nistro Soccer and Online Cruiser, OTBC. It could have been better, but he'll be happy with it. But with a finishing 4th, it's looking almost certain that Juice Run will be your champion. Which, for once, strangely enough, it could actually be decided in qualifying next week at Spa. But join us next week, join us tomorrow, sorry, same time, 7 o'clock, for the finale of Division 1. Devils already got the championship, but second's all to play for. There's some people that could get their first podiums of the season, maybe some wins, you'll never know. Join us tomorrow then, 7 o'clock, GMT. I've been in, and thank you, Donna, and Casey, for joining me today, and I'll see